an informative event. Kindly keep your microphones on mute unless called upon to speak. Kindly switch off your video cameras to conserve the bandwidth, but please do not doze off as you cannot miss this interesting session. With this, let me introduce a dedicated leader, a passionate Toastmaster, a ceramic engineer by profession, working with Saudi Ceramics, living in Saudi Arabia for the last 16 years with his wife and a daughter. He is a member of Taj Toastmasters Club, serving as Vice President membership. He has completed level 4 in leadership development. Currently, he is serving as Corporate Social Responsibility Manager for District 79. Please welcome with a thunderous round of applause, Toastmaster Jijo Koshi. Over to you, Toastmaster Jijo Koshi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Seema, for this generous introduction. District Director, DTM Madhusha, PQD, DTM Rami Jawad, CGD, DTM Ses Valencia, my roundtable members, division directors, area directors, club excoms, my dearest members of District 79 and outside District 104. A warm good evening to all. Counseling. Today, we are busier than we have ever been in the past. As our attention is pulled in, every possible from the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep. We rarely have the time to feel the guilt, sadness, or grief. Especially during this pandemic, most of us are lost. We have a solution for that. Have you heard about counseling? Counseling means to simply dedicate some time to face or confront your issues and find out a better way to live peacefully. So we are here, CSR team of District 79, coming up with this amazing introductory program for the ones who really want to learn about the different aspects of positive psychology, mental health, and counseling. If you are kind of a good listener, we need you. We will need you to support us and be a troubleshooter. District 79 needs you. Let's join our hands for a great moment with Toastmasters for the CSR event, Spring into Wellness. Before we go ahead, let me invite our dashing District Director, DTM Madhusha Nanaikara.
Thank you so much, dear Toastmaster Jijo. In fact, you said something so golden, and that is, we are the troubleshooters to our members' problems that may hinder their success in their personal and professional development. Dear Distinguished Toastmaster Ram Jawad, Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmasters Valencia, Club Growth Director, our CSR Manager, Toastmaster Jijo Koshi, my wonderful panelists, led by our very special Dr. Shanti Rekha, and of course the moderator, Toastmaster Merlin Lenny. Dear members of District 79, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon and welcome to this special event of our Special Needs and Supported Committee. As I always say, CSR is a noble profession. It's a noble cause. And lucky for us, with the blessing of God, we could realize that in the district, there are three main branches that require our attention. because those were the requests that came from our members, and one of which is the support that the district can offer them to improve their mental well-being. Most of the times, our members go through rough times, and these rough times result in mental distress. I, for instance, always go through this phenomenon. Recently, due to a series of unfortunate events, the pressure on me was unbearable, and I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, thinking of how to serve members better while ditching certain unorthodox, unacceptable accusations and unethical practices. And I really wish that I had somebody to talk to during this time to find balance in my personal, professional, and Toastmasters life. And today, we mark the beginning of a blissful program. The is the program, but for me, it's a spring of wellness, because today we have 3 panelists who are not just experts in their craft, but also compassionate human beings who are ready to help anybody who appears before them. So, Toastmaster Jijo, once again, I appreciate our moderator's effort, Toastmaster Madeline. Lenny, thank you so much. And dear Dr. Sadiqa, I know that it was a short invitation, but you accepted it wholeheartedly. Toastmaster Jijo has been updating me before the invitation, during the invitation, and after the invitation. You are superb to be around. Toastmaster Ambulu Rose, you have been with us since the beginning of this program. So as a member of the counseling team, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And Toastmaster Dr. Shanti Rekha, every time I speak to you, I feel that spring of well-being in me. Thank you so much for being around us. So Toastmaster Jijo, the offering of the awarding of the certificates can be done towards the very end. I don't want to keep you waiting, dear members, from this great program that you're going to witness. So I wish you all the very best. Remember, this is part of the program that we promote positivity in this district, irrespective of what we face as challenges during our journey. God bless you all. Back to you.
Thank you, District Director, for these wonderful words. Going ahead, our event. To carry this event forward, we have a wonderful person, our Master of Ceremony. Let me introduce her to you today. Toastmaster Merlin Lenny Vaidyan, a newbie in Toastmasters fraternity, currently working as a computer science educator at International Schools Group, Dammam, 22 years of teaching experience. Biggest passion to motivate and encourage people towards positive thinking. That's why you have come to the right place, Toastmasters. And I'm proud to say Toastmaster Merlin is a wonderful member of our CSR team. Toastmaster Merlin, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jijo Koshi, for your euphoric words. District leaders, division directors, area directors, educators, Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. Good evening to one and all. The concept of total wellness recognizes that our every thought, words, behavior affects us greater health and well-being, as we in turn are affected not only emotionally but also physically and spiritually, says Greg Anderson. In this present situation, many things are uncertain and unpredictable. Any minute could change the momentum of our life, in which we all desire to be negative of COVID 19 but positive in our thoughts. If one person is disturbed, it affects gradually everyone in the family, friends, and society. Therefore, it becomes our social responsibility to uplift and to support each other, for which, under the Toastmasters fraternity, the corporate social responsibility, special need, and support team is here again to create an awareness towards the importance of well being. Today, we have a team of esteemed speakers who will lead us all into the spring of wellness with thought provoking messages and practices to implement in our lives. Before we start, let me just remind you, if you have any queries, any questions, you can just put into the question and answer section so that it will be addressed before the end of the meeting. Let's start today's event with an eminent keynote speaker who is a founder of Positive Psychology and Wellbeing Research Lab at IFAT University, Jeddah, which was started with a vision to lead the positive psychology movement in Saudi Arabia and significantly improve people's well-being, leading into a vibrant society. Without further delay, let me call upon the Assistant Professor of Psychology Department from IFAT University, Jeddah, Dr. Sadiqa Jaber Al-Ghalib, who will be giving us a complete insight into the positive psychology. Ma'am, the lecture is yours.
Thank you so much. I hope opportunity and being part of this event. Let me just give you a quick background about positive psychology and well-being research lab at the IFAD University. We established it in the spring of 2018. Still, we are very young. And the lab came out to be part of, in IFAD University, we teach positive psychology since 2013. And I was being the one who taught this course. At the beginning, it was one of the courses that I was teaching at the college, at the Department of Psychology. But then I started to actually practice some of the techniques that I have learned, and I found it helped me personally. So, and then slowly, I found also the students who attended my classes benefit from these techniques. So it became very interesting for me that I thought would be better to create a lab, research lab, and documented all this intervention, then that helped our community, our students. And that was the bulk of the lab. And I hope you guys have the time, inshallah, to visit our website, our Instagram account, and see what we're doing. We're still at the beginning of our life. We still have so much to accomplish. So I would like to share with you what we are doing and what has been working for us. And so let's see, how can I start my screen? Can you see my screen? Hello?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, how can I do that? I thought I can.
I haven't withdrawn the permissions.
Okay, can you?
There is a green icon at the bottom toolbar.
Okay, well, I don't know what happened. Okay, let me open this one. Okay, share the screen. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Not yet, yeah.
Yes.
Just
Now.
Perfect. Okay, so so first of all, I would like to thank everyone who are really worked so hard to make this event possible. The agenda today, I know I have 15 minutes, so I try my best to share with you what I thought is very important to share, especially for the individuals who have no idea or have not heard of positive psychology. So we'll be talking about what is positive psychology and what was the misconception about positive psychology and what make people happy and the relationship between positive psychology and happiness, and how can positive psychology really help us, and some intervention that we have tried in our lab and it works. So I will be more than happy to share this with you. Let's start with what is positive psychology. Let's see here. Okay, so it's actually a scientific approach to study human thought, feeling, behavior. We are a discipline or a branch of psychology. So we are taking what psychology is all about to understand human being and to really help that individual to really strengthen their weaknesses, live a better life, a quality life, a happy life, a meaningful life. But this is actually not a new thing. This has been with us for as long as human being exists. We all want to have a better life, having a life. But to become a science, it became in 1998. That's a discipline of psychology, and was developed by the psychologist Martin Seligman. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the intervention because I think this is the time when we need it. As you guys have stated, the number of individual needs support, mental support have increased due to the circumstances of what we are going through. And positive psychology feels that have its place to help with what is going on. And I will be talking about different intervention and when positive psychology intervention can be appropriate and when it cannot be appropriate. Okay, so we build intervention looking at the person, what they already have. It's basically more of like, digging inside them to find their strength, to find what they are capable of. And we build that intervention from that point forward. So it's a set of strategies and tools. So it's positive psychology is basically a tool that we have many tools that individual should try them. Some will find some of these tools more helpful than the other. That's why I cannot say which tool is the best. However, I can tell you which one worked for me the best. And as I move on, I want to just take some time to talk quickly about the misconception about positive psychology. It's not about just being looking at the positive in life. We all know that there is a positive and negative in our life, and sometimes the positive events in our life can maybe lead to a negative circumstances, and the other way around. I can be in a negative situation, and after a while, I found, oh my God, that was one of the best things happened to me. So positive psychology is more than just looking at the positivity in life or ignoring the negative emotion. We don't ignore negative. Actually, we acknowledge it, but we want to give more power to the strengths within ourselves to overcome this negativity or overcome the challenges. Being positive psychology, I have heard it from my students a lot. I don't want to be happy. I don't want to be. I'm not looking for being happy all the time. I'm happy with what I'm miserable. I'm happy with it. I have a student of mine. She said, I am miserable and I love it. So I told her, if you love it, then there is no problem with that. So really, it's not about making people happy all the time. It's really about helping individuals who would like to improve the quality of their life. They would like to make their life more meaningful. Then positive psychology can give that hand on that. Positive psychology is not a self-help book. Our positive thinking is much more than that. Even though I have said it before, I love self-help books. I have a bunch of them and they are useful, but they are sometimes based on personal experience or personal reflection or theory or, hypothesis. But positive psychology is built on scientific method. That means we collect data, we test it, and we prove or disprove if that intervention is working. So that we would be able to generalize it to the population. We focus on the strengths. We want to really, every one of us have strengths and weaknesses. That's given. But if we focus on the strength, we can help ourselves to overcome the weaknesses. And I will show you in a minute how that's possible. So if I ask a question here, I know we don't have this interaction, which I would love if that is the case, but anyway, if I ask a question, for example, what makes you happy? And this question, since I taught positive psychology, I always ask my students and everybody in the university, what makes you happy? And you will find most people say food, coffee, and those were top two, also family and friends. So those were the top at the beginning, the first couple of years, since 2013 until 2016, the first 3 years. Number one was family and friends, and then food and coffee. But then there's something happened, and I'm really looking into doing some research in this because there was a shift. It used to be family, friend, and the last 3 years it became friend and then family. Now again, this is based on just asking the community in Eckford University, so I cannot generalize it to the public, but it's so fascinating to see that there's these young students are more focusing on the friendship than family, which is interesting to study. So what makes people happy? There's big, huge studies looking into that. Close relationships, one with your husband, your wife, your kids, your immediate family, your friends, any relationship, because we are human beings are created to be part of a group. We cannot live in isolation. Gratitude, this is huge. This amazing studies show that practicing gratitude in all different shapes, and we'll be hoping talking a bit more about that in a minute, that really make people happy. Because if you are grateful, then the feeling of happiness and satisfaction will come to you. Volunteering, which is interesting, another aspect, people who do something without returning, without asking for money or even appreciation. That the act of self to volunteer and help someone else or help organization, that will make a lot of people happy, especially the one. Everybody who does volunteering will tell you that. The problem I'm facing now, how can we increase the number of people to volunteer? Practicing kindness, of course, it always makes people happy, because when you practice kindness, it turns out and other people will be kind to you as well. To have a meaningful job and hobby, that's another thing that makes people happy. Now, the question I would like to ask, and which I ask my students, I have some of my students always say money make you happy. And that was a very interesting debate, because does really money or having more money make you happy, lead to happiness or make you happier? Having some money, yes, we need to have money to eat, to live in a safe place, to be able to afford to go to the doctor. These are must, this is the need. We're not playing with that. But let's assume that everybody have enough money to satisfy all these different food and shelter and medicine and education. Then having more money will make it that people happy. And research has been finding over and over that's not true. Really having a meaningful life, having a good relationship, having really you feel you are contributing to the community, that makes people more happy. Okay, so positive psychology in action. These are the things that we have tried in the lab, and we published 2 of those studies, and inshallah we are in the process to publish 3 more. So actually practicing gratitude in different form, by writing a journal to gratitude, by sending a message or email or a letter to someone that you are grateful for their existence, or you appreciate what they have contributed to your life. Even someone who is not no longer with us, really have shown that really help people to feel much happier. Sometimes, just to visit someone because you are grateful for them being in your life. I don't know about everybody here, but I want to be honest with you, with whatever going on these days, visitation, going and visit relatives or friends have went down, and we are doing this through social media, which is better than nothing, but we are missing that, face-to-face interaction. I've been having honestly some difficult time teaching online. I don't see my students, and I feel sometimes it would be nice this event if I can see you and you can see me. So we have to make the best out of the circumstances, but really having that face-to-face interaction and be grateful to those people in your life usually make people more happy. We did a gratitude-based intervention, but the one that I want to speak more time about today is actually mindfulness and the character strength intervention. Mindfulness, actually, I'm hoping that everybody have heard of it. It's been going around about the impact and the benefit of practicing mindfulness, and it's really helped me a lot, and I have seen it helping others when you practice mindfulness and basically being in the present, because we are suffering from anxiety and stress and depression or panic attacks because our mind taking us all to what will happen, and that make us more stressed or thinking about what someone have done to us, and that is the starting point to be depressed. So if we practice mindfulness, if we try to teach our children since very early in their life to be mindfulness, then they will be able to deal with their difficulty in life much healthier than to be more stressful or depressed. The one that I want to spend time with you guys today is to talk about the character strength intervention. And that will be, I will be talking more about it after I finish this slide. And the character strength intervention basically saying that every one of us here have a strength. If I ask you what is your strength, some of you might know, some of you might have to think a little bit about what is your strength, but we don't talk about it. We don't really hear people talking about their strength. We might know about our strengths or someone else's strengths, but we have to start a conversation about talking about our strengths with ourselves and other around us. Practice optimism is very useful. We did an experiment on that, and it's really the outcomes of the experiment was unbelievable. The other things that we did actually the impact of positive or green environment and individual well-being and happiness. And we created this, what we call it, I call it the secret garden. As you all know, in Saudi Arabia, we don't have much green, like in some of other countries that you can go out and walk and you are surrounded by nature and green and grass. We don't have that much around here. Even it's much better than it used to be. So what we did in the lab, we created a place that it was all green, it's all real plants, and we did the experiment to see spending 15, we did a different time, spending 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and 15 minutes in this positive green environment. This help you to lower your stress and anxiety. And amazingly, the result was huge significant. And this also will be published soon, inshallah. So really all these techniques, all these interventions really help us to increase our self-esteem, improve our relationship, and have more positive outlook to our life. Now, I want to just spend some time here talking about really we're not replacing clinical psychology or counseling psychologists by no means. We work with them. If we work together more and make it more clear, we are trying to take people who are okay. We work with people who are okay. Anyone who have a mental illness or struggle, such as severe depression or any other mental disorder, those individuals definitely need to see a specialist, either clinical psychologist or counseling psychologist. But we are talking about the majority of us who have struggled day to day. So if everyone who is going through difficult time, which we all going through difficult now, and then just go ahead and just go see a counselor or a clinical psychologist, you are taking their time. They don't have enough time to the people who need it the most. But if we created positive psychology intervention, which is really targeting people who are okay, but having daily struggle or some struggle, that we can help them to overcome that and leave the serious cases to the clinical psychology and counseling psychologists. And that's basically the aim of having positive psychology intervention. So I want to start talking about something that I think we all here, I hope we can benefit from positive psychology is each one of us have strength. I put the link in the bottom of the presentation that you can take actually this scale and to identify your top or the top strengths you have. And we found when we do that, if I focus on the person's strength and work with her or him on that strength, it's much easier than if I want to create a new strength in her or him. I want to give you an example. One of my students who was struggling with school, really struggling, not doing well, and she was taking my class, and that was the first time she was taking my class. And I remember her coming to my office, and she was very, very scared because I teach, sadly, I teach positive psychology, but also I teach statistic and measurement, experiment, research, which all the courses the students really do not like, because most of the students do not like math or number. So when they take my other classes, they are so scared and they are really having difficulty with the concept. And she came to my office and she said, I pushed your class to the last semester because I was so afraid of your class. And we started talking, and I found that, mashallah, tabarakallah, she's very good listener, and she is very good picking up on clue. And so I use her strength to help her to overcome her struggle with dealing with number or research. And subhanallah, she graduated, alhamdulillah. But what is amazing, and she sent me a message not a long time ago, thanking me because I made her realize her strength. And when she graduated, she created like her own center, helping individuals who are struggling the same kind of struggle she had before. So really, it's really, we wanna look at your strength and see how can we focus on this strength, so then we make it even better. It's like a muscle. The more you practice, the better the muscle becomes stronger. So in the past, I'm not criticizing psychology by no means, but in the past, before positive psychology, we were really focusing on the, what you call it, the L models, the illness model. Basically, how can we fix people? And that is a very legit, that is very important. We need to help to fix people who are broken. We have so many people who are suffering from abuse, from violence, mental illness, all this. We need people to help them to fix it. But we don't really have to be for everyone. We need to really be careful how to really do research. So research was done to fix the people who are broken. We need to emphasize or spend more time to really work on research that really take people who are okay and make them live better life, make them much, feel the fulfillment of their life and have a meaningful life. There was a huge study was done, and the company was wanting to see about leadership. So what they did, they asked, they did an intervention, and then some of this company will focus on the strengths of the employee, and the other group will focus on the weaknesses of the employee. And the result was unbelievable because it's like almost thousands of participants in that study. They found that people who was given positive enforcement or positive feedback about their strength, the performance of that company or that organization went up 36%. And the one that was giving the negative, focusing on the negative and what they are not capable of, the performance went down 27%. So we have now enough evidence to show that, you think of yourself, if you have a day and someone you met and they yell at your face, they spoil your whole day. If you meet someone and they smile at you and they are nice to you, that impact of that kindness will stay with you maybe through the whole day or at least part of the day. So really we have enough evidence now to show that being kind, focus on your positivity, really protect yourself from negative people, really have improved people's quality of life. Okay, I know I speak too fast, but I have this phobia actually from time is running out. So I don't know how I'm doing with time. How is the time? I still have time, or can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you're up to time. Yes.
How much time do I have?
Actually, truly speaking, it's finished.
Okay, so I'm very happy that I'm here today with you guys, and I'll be more than happy to share with you what we are doing in the lab, and I hope more lab like my positive psychology will be established around the country, and we can do more research to really find a way to improve the quality of life of people in this society and every other society. Thank you so much, and
Thank you, Dr. Sadiga, for your wonderful presentation and thoughts. I'm sure your words will help us to change our perception towards positive change. I know we need to practice a little bit more on expressing ourselves, being satisfied, and having the gratitude attitude in a change. And to practice mindfulness, we think about the next moment, not the present moment. So, yeah, thank you for waking us up from what we need to satisfy today. And to keep up this positivity, at times we need someone by our side to listen to our blues and stir our feelings, to open up and reach out, whom we can trust, which can sparkle our minds, which we call as counseling, the talking therapy. To make us aware with this magic, we have our next speaker, our CSR member, who is a founder of Rosal Center of Counseling Services with 9 years of experience in counseling field and who has served as a teacher in different schools in Riyadh. She has conducted many workshops and seminars for youngsters in different schools and colleges. Joining with us from India, this is none other than the member of Toastmasters fraternity, Toastmaster Ambali Rose. Please join hands together to welcome Toastmaster Ambali Rose.
Thank you
Dr.
so much.
Sadia, can you stop your screen
Here.
sharing so that I'll start with the next speaker. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Toastmaster Merlin, for the introduction. And good evening and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Many people will at some point in their life find themselves in the role of a counselor without having a true understanding of the concept of counseling or what is the role of a professional counselor entails. Especially in this pandemic, one or the other way, we all need some kind of assistance. So today we will be discussing about the great helping process called counseling, the talking therapy. What is counseling? The process of assisting and guiding an individual, especially by a trained person or on a professional basis, to resolve his personal, social, and psychological problems with the potential communication is called counseling. Or in a very simple way, we can say counseling is helping a person help himself. It involves helping people to make needed changes in the ways of thinking, acting, and feeling about their day-to-day lives. Basically, it is a process of effective communication. The counselor helps you to address your problems in a positive way by helping you to clarify your issues, explore your options, developing strategies, and increase in self-awareness. If you're interested in helping people, to guide people to their social and psychological difficulties, you should have some skills to succeed. Counselors need excellent verbal communication skills to effectively speak with different range of people. So having the talent for building relationships are very important. You need to be patient when working with your clients. You must possess a solid ethical code and keep the confidentiality to ensure your client's safety and well-being. More importantly, you should have a desire to help others and must be empathetic than being sympathetic. Hope you know the difference between empathy and sympathy, right? You must possess a strong problem-solving skill and should not be judgmental on clients. This is something very professional that you will be learning only by professional training. But if you try, you can master in these skills. Okay, so moving on to the benefits of counseling. There are a number of benefits if we talk about it. I will be mentioning very major ones. Okay, so first one, improved communication and interpersonal skills. Many of us find ourselves in a situation of miscommunication and communication breakdown, often leading to interpersonal conflicts. People who experience communication difficulties as a result of repressed childhood trauma may be able to uncover and resolve the unconscious thoughts and emotions in therapy and develop their communication skills as a result. Therapy can facilitate the improvement of interpersonal and intergroup skills by helping individuals to ameliorate the quality, nature, and the frequency of communication. So next point is to change self-defeating behaviors or self-destructing habits. Here, counseling therapy is an opportunity for you to begin examining the areas in your life which you want to change. Working with a therapist or a counselor allows you to begin to research about yourself, to study about yourself from a different perspective over time and recognize your behavior patterns. You may begin with identifying how those patterns and how those behaviors came into and how you can slowly make positive changes in that. Here we can see the character issues and addictions, drug addictions can be cured in proper counseling. Next point is self-acceptance and self-esteem. Examining your emotions with another person allows you to see yourself from the outside. That helps you to love yourself and result in a sense of self-awareness. And once proceed, it have huge beneficial effects in making people feel more at peace with themselves and with boost in a self-esteem and confidence. Next, we will be seeing better expression and management of emotions. The counseling relationship allows you a safe space to express your feelings and emotions, peel them back, to study them, to see how it works. This means we can sit and process your feelings of guilt, remorse, grief, and sadness, anger, everything. Counseling or this talking therapy means you simply dedicate some time facing, confronting your feelings. Gradually, you will get control on your emotions. Relief from depression or anxiety. It's quite common for emotions that bottled up to have lasting effects on your mood and behavior. Long-seated issues can be the root cause for all kinds of worries. If you're struggling to process your thoughts and this is affecting your daily life, seeing counselor can be helpful. Next is increase in confidence and decision-making skills. Counseling helps people to explore and evaluate possible actions when making a decision. We help the client to brainstorm and come up with possible solutions. Here, counselor helps the client to evaluate those possibilities by helping them to understand the negative and positive consequences. And the counselor can walk with the client through the decision-making process, not only helping them to make a decision, but they will show them how they can do it. Ability to manage stress effectively. It's a very common problem with all of us. Stress management starts with identifying the source of stress in your life. It is all about talking it out and taking charge of your thoughts, your emotions, your schedules, your environment, and the way you take the problems or the way you deal with the problems. Ultimate goal of the counseling is a balanced life. The counselor will help you to practice healthy ways of life, like lifestyle changes, meditation, yoga, and exercises to cope up with the stress. Next, we are seeing improved problem solving and conflict resolution skills. Communication provides an opportunity to share your thoughts and problems as well as reason why they are having conflicts. Face-to-face communication is more effective than other forms because it allows you for an active exchange of information. It also allows you to observe important nonverbal cues from the other party. This helps people to delve deeper into the problem and find the root cause of the conflict. Next is healthier lifestyle and relationships. Sometimes the relationship may have broken down, or couples may have in fact grown apart without knowing it. Even healthy relationship can be having problems with emotional intimacy or emotional adequacy. Taking the time to talk through such issues with a neutral third party or a counselor helps to air their views and help them to see the arguments from others' perspective. So the counseling session can help them to resolve any kind of relationship issue. Let's see who need counseling. There is not much to explain. I'll just go through the slide. Counseling is for the people who wanting more joy and happiness and satisfaction in their lives. It is for the people who demand more solid and intimate relationships. And counseling is for the people who are curious about understanding themselves in a greater depth and for the wellness and well-being, etc. See, counseling often has a stigma associated with it, how mental health issues have been addressed in our society. This negative perception still makes some people hesitant about giving counseling a try. All of us go through difficult times and transitions in our lives. Just because you are struggling in life and seeking the support of a professional counselor, doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you are weak. On the contrary, it is important to step forward to improve your quality of life. It is not something that just for people who are having a really rough time or in a crisis situation. As we know, the entire human journey is complex, and sometimes the support of a friend or a family will not be enough to ease your pain. So the reality is we all struggle with life problems, and we all can be benefited from the counseling. Now, let's see how we know that a person needs counseling. How do you know that when a person needs counseling? Okay, there are some common symptoms that we can easily identify. Those are, if a person is identified with suicidal tendency, the person keep on telling about suicide and ending his life, like that kind of a person can be noticed. And an upsetting physical condition such as tremors, oversweating, seizures, and changes in sleep and eating pattern, decline in personal care, like not taking bath and not combing their hair, like that. If a person is showing loss of interest in activities which he previously enjoyed doing, an unusual drop in functioning, like difficulty in performing the very familiar and regular tasks, showing low self-esteem or uncontrollable anger and other emotions, all these things must be treated. And apathy is the other very familiar and very common system of psychological disturbance. Apathy means the loss of initiative or a desire to participate in any kind of activity. Problem with concentration, memory, logical thought, and if any person may find it hard to explain what is going on or what he is going through, such situation also must need an immediate action. People seems to be increased sensitivity to sights, sounds, and touch, and feeling disconnected to his surroundings, a sense of unreality, nervousness, and being suspicious. These are the major and common situations that a person must need a psychological assessment. And you may be thinking, why do we need a counselor than a good friend? It is useful to talk to someone about any problem. A lot of people find that simply talking with friends or family can help them feel better. That's absolutely true. Okay, but a professional therapist or a counselor can offer more than that. They have professional training, experience, and they use different methods to find out the real problem. They use different theories and techniques to communicate with you. So a well-trained counselor is always better than a familiar person. Second point is, often people won't be able to share their feelings and issues, especially if they have something that they are very embarrassed to discuss with non-person. Okay, so having someone who is a complete stranger and can give you a freedom to talk about things. The main point is he won't be judgmental on you. You feel very comfortable to talk about your negative side. an unknown person in a professional setting. And in third one, we are seeing when you have an appointment with a professional counselor, you are committed to them for that particular period of time, meaning that you can't run away from facing your problems. You must be in there and let the counselor to make a successful communication with you, and definitely you will be getting result. These are the reasons why we should select a professional one to deal with your problems than a friend. It's clear. The rapidly evolving situation has drastically altered people's life. Each and every individual were affected and our families were separated. People failed to find somebody who cares about them. We were stranded in ourselves, isn't it? The uncertainties, the fears associated with this pandemic, along with the mass lockdowns, economic recession affected our wellness. In this period, we can see there is an emergency call for the more attention to the public mental health and other policies to assist people to go through this challenging time. There is a scarcity of professional mental health workers. In this situation, let me ask you, as an efficient communicators and active listeners, what Toastmasters can do? By talking with people, you can give a positive feeling that there is somebody to listen to them and care about them. I want all of you to think about it and how we can make this into practice. Okay, share your thoughts and the ideas with us. If you're ready to assist a person in crisis, District 79 is you. Let me conclude. Never, ever give up on someone with mental illness. When this I replaced with we, illness become wellness. Thank you so much. Over to Toastmaster Merlin.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ambali Rose, for such a wonderful awareness towards the importance of counseling. Your talking was a therapy by itself, and I'm sure all of you sitting here, all of you listening to you, will be very confident to move to any professional counselor towards their the time of the need, and particularly in the situation of pandemic. And to continue with, wellness is associated with intentions, choices, and actions as we work towards an optimal state of health and well being. A complete wellness can be achieved by having a support system, which will be elaborated by our next eminent speaker, who is a trained clinical psychologist, certified life coach, corporate trainer with an experience of more than 25 years in the field of corporate training and counseling. Currently working as a school counselor in Embassy School, Jubail, she is a Toastmaster for past 5 years and a founding president of the first woman Toastmasters Club, NISA. Her mantra for life is be positive, with a goal to boost others' confidence and keep a positive spirit. Is none other than another lead member of our CSR Special Activity Team, Dr. Shanti Rekha, who will help us to know the support system towards wellness. Dr. Shanti Rekha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Merlin, for such a wonderful, elating words. I'm really overwhelmed. And this is one of the part of a counseling wherein you really make the other person positive. Thank you. Diligent leaders of District 79, officials of all clubs and areas, Toastmasters, trailblazer leaders of CSR team, valued guests, good evening, Assalamu alaikum. So my one of the presenters, she did a very wonderful job, Ambali Rose, wherein she talked about what is this all counseling all about and who needs counseling and the benefits of counseling, who can be a counselor. Now, see, we all know what exactly is counseling. We know the fundamentals and everything. Yet we don't approach because sometimes we feel if I go and meet a counselor, maybe people will term me as an insane person. And next time they may not invite me for a party or for a club. They might think in some very different way. So this is still a stigma, or many things are associated with counseling. And apart from that, many a times I don't know to whom to approach. So District 79, they started with the CSR activities, in which one of the thing is counseling, the wellness support system. How exactly we are going to do, let's see. So what exactly we are going to talk about? Glance at the present situation, who can avail the service, support system, reach out for Toastmasters. If you see this figure or if you see this picture, everyone gets some goosebumps, some type of, your mind BP get fluctuate, some thoughts raise in your mind, and sleepless nights, many, many things. So this is a present situation which affected many people. Despite the fact, mental health, even WHO did a big survey on many of the countries, and they have come with these alarming results. In these few months, COVID-19 pandemic has taken the entire world by storm. As a result of the emergency of COVID disease 2019 outbreak of situation of socioeconomic status, crisis, as well as psychological distress rapidly occurred worldwide. If you see the statistics by WHO survey, it's alarming. Like depression, almost 30%, anxiety disorders, 26%, suicidal tendencies or suicide, 16%. We have read also so many people when they got diagnosed with COVID-19, they in the hospital itself, they jumped and committed suicide. Because that was exactly the fear was associated with the entire thing. 12% OCD. What is OCD? OCD means obsessive compulsive disorder. All the time they will be checking the temperature. All the time they will see if any disorder or any symptoms are persisting. Many times they will visit the doctor. They'll keep on checking the YouTube to see what exactly, and they will start checking in themselves. And all the time racing thoughts, compulsive thoughts, which they can't stop. I'm not going to much in details what exactly. Then 13% psychotic patient, other mental disorders patient already who are having the problem, they really went into a very major turmoil. They were trapped into that quagmire of all these thoughts. So disrupted were severely mental, worry, fear, stress-related problem, then perceived or real threats. Many times it happened. Like, all of a sudden they might see, oh my God, I'm having fever. But what do I have to do? Fear of uncertainty or the unknown. Social isolation phobia. Social isolation phobia is one of the things. Like you're not even going to your neighbor's house. Like even if you see your neighbors, you are going to shut your house or shut your door and be at home. So this is one of the fear. And then loneliness, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, phobias of parents. That this happened in children. I have counseled many students used to come to us and say, "Ma'am, I'm scared. Why? You have any problem?" No, I don't have any problem, but I have a fear. What happens in case if my father or mother is affected with COVID-19 and death? So those were the fears were prevailing in all students. Then thanatophobia is one of the very, very, very grave phobia. See, death is inevitable, but then fear of death. What will happen? What will happen? That really captured every one of us. So this is the situation. Stress, and there was severe stress, and there were so many symptoms, and there were so many, associated because of the stress, because of COVID-19. Changes in sleep and eating patterns. I have seen many people, including us, including me, like we never used to sleep in the nights, and all day we used to feel sleepy, right? And more at night till 2 o'clock, no sleep at all. We couldn't sleep at all. And then difficulty sleeping or concentrating, especially for children. Then worsening of chronic health problems. In case if I'm a diabetic or I'm suffering from any cholesterol or any physical illness, so that worsened. Then chronics of mental health conditions, loss of interest. That is what even Ambali told. Loss of interest was one of the biggest symptoms. They don't feel, despite the fact you are staying at home, you're staying with your family. I think it happened for the first time all together. Still, end of the day, I'm not interested. And the common word or the common phrase which I heard or keep on, I used to hear that often, that I am bored. I really don't know what to do. Despite you have everything. You have your Netflix, you have your YouTube, you have your husband, your wife, and everything. Still, I am bored. I really feel disassociated. I really feel this. Then increase use of tobacco or alcohol if it is there. Not here, I'm talking about India or other countries. So these are the things which were associated with this one. Now, talking about who needs counseling, we have seen the pandemic situation. We have seen number of, how the cases increased, not even in COVID, but then mental health. But as a whole, who needs counseling? As a whole, whom we can target? Like as I've told you, CSR team into this process, and this is the first time it's happening, whom we are going to target. It's not the only women, it's not only men, but children, teens, men, women, medical field, other professionals. The problems associated by counseling professionals are addressed from developmental, that is lifestyle, environmental, and cultural perspectives. They include, but not limited to, children who might have behavioral problems in schools, adjustment concerns, academic issues, etc. Late adolescents with educational and career concerns, or many a times substance abuse problems. Making decisions about their career and work and dealing with school, work, environment. Now there is a major shift from real classroom or the regular classroom to virtual, and because of that also many children, they suffered stress, they suffered anxiety because they can't meet physically with their friends. They can't be with them. And see, when you are talking about physical means you're sitting around, you're talking to them, you see face to face, that was all missing. Like, Children's Day or any of the days, they couldn't celebrate, they couldn't see. Virtual, everything virtual. And that is one of the biggest stress with all the, especially the children are facing. Adults facing relationship problems, including marital, family difficulties, many, which were all been discussed. Learning and skill deficits, stress management, organizational problems, then personal and social adjustments, and many more. So these are the target groups basically we are going to address. These are the, how we are going to address, I'll talk about. Now, what exactly this process all about? First of all, whenever you find yourself, or if you find your neighbor, or if you find your friend or a Toastmaster having some type of symptoms or signs which were already being discussed by the other faculty, resource person, please don't ignore them. See to it, pay attention. Okay, if consistently the person is saying, no dear, I'm not interested, today I can't come for the Toastmaster. Okay, the next meeting, again the same thing. No, I don't. And then all the time they are making excuses. It's not about that we want to bring the members, but then see to it because of some other reasons. Even in our own home, many a times we miss those symptoms, those signs. We overlook in our own children. And then what happened? One fine day, some big problem. Recently in Jubail, one suicide happened. Like many a time, since many days, the girl was showing some symptoms. The parents were ignorant. And then one fine day, they saw their own child, a teenager, committing suicide. Many a times it happened, committed in Gamam, like a long time ago, a boy committed suicide. The reason because he was undergoing depression. He was undergoing depression because of academic issues. Getting my point? But then parents were ignorant. And then, please, that's the reason I'm saying don't ignore the mental signs and symptoms. Identify the prevailing signs and symptoms. Talk to your family friends or your family relatives. But most importantly, talk to a counselor, because as other faculty told very clearly, a counselor, she has experience, or he or she has experience. She knows ways and means and techniques to help the person. Seek out professional help immediately. And dear Toastmasters, dear guests, everyone, you are not alone in this. We all are suffering. We all are having some issues, but some they come out, some they cannot. Some can overcome, some cannot. So we have to see how to go ahead. Just a small video for all of us.
You know that feeling where your thoughts scare you? or make life tough. Sometimes it feels like no one else in the world has those thoughts or feelings. No one seems to know how difficult it is to deal with your feelings. And it's not easy to share your deepest secrets. You might think something is wrong with you. Or you might worry what other people think. And all of that makes your thoughts and feelings worse. Our culture has created this environment of shame. Until the 1960s, society sent people away if they had challenges managing their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Over time, we learned that we didn't have to be afraid. We learned how to help people get better. We became hopeful. But there are remnants of those images in our culture today, which is why some people still feel uncomfortable talking about it. The stigma has taken new forms too. With more access to more people all the time, it can seem like the world is telling us it's not okay to be anything but perfect. The truth is, everyone has thoughts or feelings that can be hard to deal with. So why do we make it so difficult on ourselves by judging others who could be going through the same challenges we are? What if, instead of seeing labels, we saw people who are struggling and could be there for them so they didn't feel so alone? What if we looked past our fear of mental health and started to talk about it in a constructive way? What if, as a society, we used empowering words and healthy images to help people feel supported? Maybe then more of us could feel comfortable telling others when we're having a hard time. Maybe more people would get the help they need. And maybe one day we won't have to talk separately about mental health and physical health, but just health.
So this is how exactly the people might feel, okay, I'm only suffering from my OCD, or am I only person suffering from anxiety? There are so many people. Okay, so how CSR committee is going to really support? This information will be disseminated in all the clubs. Whatever the webinar we have designed and we are disseminating, giving to you all, it has to be disseminated in all the clubs by respective club officials. Clubs will identify potential counselors, like the other presenter told what are the skills. So the club officials will identify some club members who have these skills. A person who is empathetic and listening skills. Seminars will be conducted for the members on counseling skills, right? And then critical, then if there are chronic cases referred to you, if very critical cases referred to you, will be directed to the professionals and the plan will be enacted. That's how this entire CSR committee will support. So please reach for the support. We are there. Okay, I'm just going to play a small audio for all of you.
Hi, my name is Arun. I am living in Jubail, Saudi Arabia. I am from India. I want to share one of my personal experience regarding a problem what I faced 7 months ago. It started with the sleeplessness. I was unable to sleep. I was having trouble sleeping. I was waking up in the middle. I was unable to sleep. I cannot sleep more than half an hour, 1 hour. I was like tired. I haven't slept for almost 5-6 days. I used to wake up suddenly in the middle of the night or in the day when I slept. I used to feel tired, so fatigued, but I was unable to sleep. All of a sudden, I wake up and I see my heart is pounding like anything. It's running very fast. I got feared. I don't know what to do. I just took medical help. I seek consultation with many doctors. I consulted cardiologist. He did many tests on me. One day, he monitored my heart pattern. Several tests he did, stress test, many other tests as a normal the cardiologist will do. Nothing. All the results are fine. Everything is okay. Doctor said, you are fine. It's not the problem in your heart. It's in your head. You need to consult a psychiatrist. I went to psychiatrist. I explained him my problem. He gave me some medicines. He said, you take them. You will be okay. all their psychiatric medicines. I have some experience related to this medicines. I have never used. I saw some of my family members using. So I decided, let's try some other way. Then one of my neighbors suggested Dr. Shantirika. And really, believe me, like she came like that. She was meant for me at the right time in my life. I explained her all of my issues, what I am facing, what I am going through. She realized it immediately. She recognized my issue, and she first said me what is the issue. She made me realize how to deal with the issue, how to accept it, how to be strong, how to fight, how to come out of it. She gave me a lot of tips and like meditation, thinking positively. Because when this issue started, slowly, because I was unable to sleep, slowly negative thoughts were running in mind and they were increasing. But at the right time, I met her. I came to know about her. She gave me the tips. After her first counseling, whatever the tips she gave me, really, that helped me a lot. I slept for continuously 14 hours. And that was the turning point in my life during that phase. And after that, those kind of episodes coming frequently, but I was also having frequent counseling sessions with Dr. Shantirika. She helped me a lot. She taught me how to handle this, how to come out of this, how to be positive. And the tips given by her, I meticulously followed them. I tried to be brave, I tried to be strong. Only one thing I thought, this too shall pass. And really now it's almost 7 months. I'm feeling so normal. I know that something has came to me. These thoughts are coming like something why it came. But it's okay. It came and it passed. You have to be strong. Once you are strong, you believe yourself, you can come out of this. I know, I just want to share this experience because many of the people, I came to know after that, even some of my friends, my close friends also has faced the same issue. And I recommended them to talk to Dr. Shantirika. And now they are also mostly recovered. They are saying that they were also feeling good. They are coming back to the life.
So this is one of my client who overcome. There were so many clients during the entire this pandemic situation. But thanks to God and meticulously, one of the key point is commitment. They were really committed to the what exactly the process and what are the techniques we have given them. So that's what. So the CSR team is there for you all. Okay, just because no one else can heal or do your inner work for you doesn't mean you can, should, or need to do it alone. So we are there for you. And thanks a lot. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Dr. Shanti Rekha, for such a wonderful presentation. No doubt, we all went through this situation, ups and downs were there throughout this pandemic for the past few months. And now we know where we should find the spring of wellness. And with that, we just start with, I'm sure everybody has a question in their mind and they have put up their question in the question and answer session. So we are moving on to our Q&A session. To lead with this session, let me welcome another lead member and advisor of CSR Special Activity Team, who is past president of Arabian Toastmasters Club, who initiated the immediate special care section of IAS Jubail and has been working as a special educator for the past 16 years. Help me welcome Toastmaster Saira Uman. Ma'am, yours.
Just Ms. Sarah, you're muted.
Yes, you're audible.
Yes,
You're-
yes.
Am I audible?
Roman, you're audible.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah, you're audible.
you are very much audible.
We can hear you, Toastmaster Saira.
Hello? Am I audible? I can't hear them.
Yes, Saira, you are audible.
I can't hear them. What have you done? Hello? Am I audible now? I can't hear you.
Toastmaster Saira, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Am I audible?
Excellent. Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay? Okay. Then shall I start? Thank you. District Director, DTM Madhusha, District PQD, DTM Rami, District CGD, DTM SES, our own CSR Manager, Toastmaster Jijo, our eminent panelists for today, Dr. Sadika, Dr. Shanti Rekha, and Toastmaster Ambli. A pleasant good evening to you all and to our wonderful guests. That was indeed an amazing session, don't you agree? We had an array of eminent panelists and they have spoken about a topic which is the need of the hour and it's so relevant in today's situation. But we all know the power to question is a basis for all human beings. Good listeners ask questions and our audience are so interested in the topic that they have raised many questions. And our panelists, I'm sure, will enjoy answering them. The art and science of asking questions is a source of all knowledge. Now, for the first question. Positive psychology tells us to stay cheerful. So easy to say, isn't it? But so difficult in the present situation. How does positive psychology help us to face such situations? Can I ask Dr. Sadika to answer this, please?
Of course, I would be more than happy to do so.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. This is a very good question, actually, and a question that I also keep asking myself. Since we are all going through a difficult time, and I keep asking myself how my knowledge about my positive psychology can help me to overcome. I suffer also from an anxiety, stress. I don't think anybody who are free from those struggles. The one that I found very helpful is to stay present, to stay on the moment. We don't know what the future will happen. I mean, worry about the future really does not do us well. So if every time your mind go to what will happen in the future, you bring it back to the present. You can do that very, very well with breathing techniques. I advise everyone, really, it's not that difficult. If you really spend time every morning before you start your day, spending it in a really kind of there's many different type of techniques you can use to really breathe, because when we breathe correctly, we are making our mind not to wander up to the past or to the future. That's very helpful, I found it. The other thing is like to really surround yourself with people who are positive. Stop watching the news because you cannot do anything. You know, the bad news will come to you. Don't worry about that. So unless you are one of these people who can do a different or can make an impact, then don't watch the news. That's one thing that you can do. Surround yourself with very positive people. I have a friend of mine, I love her. She's an amazing human being, but she's always thinking about the worst, overthinking about the worst. I minimize my interaction with her. I try to really help her to look at what it could be a good thing. And she didn't listen, so I minimize how much interaction I have with her, because I need to protect my my mental health. Another thing that you can do is actually gratitude. Really being grateful of, we are very lucky. I mean, every one of us, there's something about your life is very fortunate. You are lucky to have. So focus on that, surround yourself with loved one, and try to help someone else who's in worse scenario than you. Because the feeling of that you help someone, it's really rewarding, and then it can really help you. So really, positive psychology, I will repeat again before I let someone else ask a question. It's not about being happy and positive and really excited about life. No, it's about really finding what is within you, the things within you that can help you to cope with the challenge that you're facing. I hope that helped.
Thank you, ma'am. And as you said, at times it's very necessary to disconnect from what is happening around us for our own peace of mind. Very true, especially in the present situation. Now, coming to the second question from one of our audience, how to get peace of mind? Very relevant. How to get a peaceful sleep at the end of the day? I'm sure many of us have this question. Dr. Shanti, could you please answer this?
Yes, a very apt question and relevant question, especially for at this present pandemic situation in this. So see how to get peace of mind. Why first of all, what exactly the peace of mind we need to understand. So what exactly I require to get a peace of mind? Maybe I get peace of mind. Maybe if I get a good bank balance or a great secure job, whatever. So first of all, we need to introspect a lot. See, I'm not going to say here the therapy and everything, because if I'm going to talk about the therapy, it's going to be a long term. But then, yes, we need to understand which are the components and what exactly have taken away the peace of mind. That is first thing you have to understand. Yes. Why I'm not happy. That is one thing. And secondly, if you are happy, if you have peace of mind, and automatically you get a sleep. Like I forgot to introduce myself. One of the things is I'm also a I'm also a sleep disorder specialist, wherein we know what are the ingredients when you have to have a sleep. Melatonin, your all enzymes, all other hormones need to be balanced. And which type of food you need to have, and then what were the activities, and then your light with sleeping, and before sleep, what are the activities you need to do, and in the morning awake state, what are the activities to do. We have to see entire clock. We have to see our entire, work clock, what I do, and based on that, then I advise my clients, follow these things, change your pattern, change some of your practices, what you're doing, change your system, change your clock, your eating habits, and absolutely end of the day, you will get sleep. And one more thing is that your sleep and peace of mind are interrelated. If I get good sleep, automatically you will be having a peace of mind next day. If I don't have peace of mind, automatically you will not have a good sleep. So that's what I want to talk about sleep and peace of mind. Thank you. Over to you, Saira.
Thank you, Shanti. Yes, I agree that, for peace of mind, proper sleep is required, and it's really interconnected. Thank you so much. Now, coming to the next question, which is also a very valid one. I would like to address that to Toastmaster Ambali. Is there a stigma attached to approaching a counselor for help? This is something which is so relevant and so true. If so, how can it be addressed? Toastmaster Ambali? Toastmaster Ambali?
Yes, I'm coming.
Yeah.
See, I think I have addressed this while in my speech. See, it's a social stigma that undergoing counseling is something bad. That means you are a person is mentally sick. You are not useful not useful for a life, or you're not a degraded, disgraced person in the society. No, it's not like that. Okay, if the person is coming out of that particular problem, and no, if the person is trying to coming out of the problem and seeking the help of a professional one, means that doesn't mean that they are weak and they are failure in their life. It's not. That is a positive thing that need to be congratulated, and it usually happens while people coming for counseling. They used to hide themselves and come. They won't say their name and their address until they reach their counseling center. That is what's happening. I think the answer is clear, right? It's nothing to worry about to seek help. That's all.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ambli. Though you had addressed this, I repeated this question when a member of the audience asked, just because this is so relevant, and I've noticed that people hesitate to go to counselor because of this. That is the reason why I repeated it. So the next one, if a Toastmaster needs counseling services, they generally don't know who to approach, the first step. I think Dr. Shanti, can you help out on this?
Yes, if a Toastmaster needs counseling services, who or she, she or he approach, they can approach the president. As we told, like this entire information will be disseminated to all the club officials, so that, anyone approaches them, right? So what they can do is, then obviously, first of all, they have to identify one person from there. So we will be training them. We will be, providing all the skills, empowering them with the skills to become a counselor, so they can go ahead with it, or they can come to us directly, whatever. It's like the information, like the club officials. That's the main thing.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shanti. Dr. Sadika, I would like to address the next question to you. What is the difference between positive psychology and positive thinking? For the normal person, some are positive thinkers, so they would like to know, what is the difference between positive psychology and just ordinary positive thinking? Dr. Sadika?
Wait a minute. Hello? Can you
hear
me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, they are overlapping, and positive thinking is a part of positive psychology. However, positive psychology is not part of positive thinking. So it's basically, you need to have positive thinking. You need to be really the way your mind works, or the way you analyze things, or the way you receive things, need to be positive. However, positive psychology is a branch of psychology, and look at much bigger scope of psychology. Besides positive psychology, we look at the strengths, as I mentioned. We look at what does it work with different group of people. Like sometimes meditation, they found that meditation worked with certain people, but not with everybody. I tried meditation, it didn't work for me. However, breathing exercise worked for me. So positive psychology basically is trying to really doing a scientific research to document which one of these interventions does work and under what circumstances. So in order for us to share it with the rest of the world.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And I would like to address our next question to Toastmaster Ambli, since it's a continuation of the question I asked her earlier. How should one select a counselor that already a normal person? Here, it's not a Toastmaster. Generally, how they should approach? And another valid question which many people raise is, as a special educator, I have seen my own parents asking me that, my students' parents, discussions in counseling sessions, are they kept completely confidential?
Okay.
So can you once again, speak on this?
Yeah, sure. The ethics means, each profession has its own ethics, and confidentiality is the primary ethics in counseling. You doesn't need to worry about at all that, okay, after my counseling, the counselor will tell this everywhere, and your identity will be revealed. Never. That is our first priority, that whatever you're saying in the counseling room will be saved with us. Okay, it won't go out. That will be completely confidential. And second thing, how could one select a counselor?
Select a counselor.
select a counselor. See, as we can see now, in India, especially in India, we can see here everywhere, there is a counselor. Actually, I am little against that, because people have a thought that the one who speaks very well, maybe they may be motivational speakers or good at speaking, can be a counselor. No, they can motivate people, they can urge people to go and get something, but a counselor is working on the problem of a person and helping them to come out of it. So there is a difference between a counselor and the one who talk very well. Okay, that you should understand first. Then the second one is,
Yes.
you should definitely ask for testimonials, other people, the experience of other people, and you should check whether they are qualified enough, their degrees, and whether they are licensed to do it in the society, and about their experiences, certifications. And better, I will definitely say, not go for the religious kind of counseling. It also is soothing one, but I don't think the professional psychological approach will be more beneficial than a religious kind of counseling. I hope it's clear.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ambli. I think that answers the doubts which many of the members of our audience had. And now we would love to entertain more questions, but since there is a time constraint, we will wind up with the last question, and that I would like Dr. Shanti to answer.
Yes.
What is the difference between psychologist and counselor? This is another question that most of the people ask.
Fine. What is the difference between a psychologist and a counselor? Counselor, like basically they can work, see, if I'm talking as a counselor, they can work in school setups and other setups where their qualification doesn't have much in depth. It's like a talking counselor, talking therapist, right? So wherein you just address the superficial level and understand, make him talk and make him understand, just help the person to overcome his fears or whatever anxieties. Whereas for a psychologist, they have in-depth knowledge. It's like you can like master degrees or PhDs, and then you become a clinical psychologist wherein you have license to really go ahead with the therapies, because they are in-depth therapists. For example, if a person comes like, today I'm not able to sleep, can you please help? So with some talkings and everything, I can help him, right? But then if a person is saying like, I have OCD problems, or I have psychological disorders, or I have some problems since it's running for a long time, and then I go for the therapies like a cognitive behavior therapy, then I might go for NLP, techniques. All those things comes into when I'm talking about psychologists. And one more thing, although it is not being question, but one thing is a psychiatrist, whereas a psychiatrist is a person who gives medicines. So there is always a war between psychologists and psychiatrists, because psychiatrists, they don't have in therapies as such. They will just, whatever the symptoms are there, they will just suppress the symptoms with the help of the medicines. So that's the reason most of my clients, they don't go for psychologists, psychiatrists, they come to the psychologist. So that's it. Thank you, Saira, for this question.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shanti. One of our, I think, members have asked a question and he wants us to answer that. I will just read out his question. I think already we have answered your question. It was a second question on how to get proper sleep, isn't it? I think we've already answered that.
Right. I have answered it.
Yeah. So I think, see what he has said, I think, Dr. Shanti, there's a continuation. He has said that every patient says, I'm good and okay, no need for psychological treatment. But we know that a patient really needs psychiatric treatment. Then please advise on how to convince such a person on such situation. I think right. He's again requesting that he wants a reply. So though there is a time constraint, I'm asking you. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I'll just address in very little time. See, basically, many a times, there are two types of disorders. Like one is what you call neurosis, another is a psychosis. A neurotic person will never, when they admit, yes, I have a problem, sleepless problem, whatever it is, and they will consult a psychologist or a counselor. But whereas the psychotics, they don't know that they have a problem unless only their relatives or their husband or wife, they say, like my husband is washing his hands all the time. They will say, no, it's perfectly fine because I want to clean my hands, so I'm washing. So at that time, you have to take them to a psychologist saying that, okay, fine, this is a problem. Maybe somewhere down the line, the psychologist tried to trigger out with the questions, probing questions, and make the person realize, yes, I'm undergoing some type of issues. And then they will, it is like a big process, right? Anyway, CSR team is there for you. You can contact, as we have already told.
Yes.
So numbers are there with CSR team leader, Jijo, Toastmaster Jijo, anytime they can contact us, right? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Shanti. Thank you, our wonderful panelists, all three of them, Dr. Sadika, Dr. Shanti, and Toastmaster Ambli. You did a great job. And as a lead of this team, my request also to all of you who's listening to us is, we are here for you. We are trying to reach out, and we hope that all of you spring into wellness. And as Dr. Shanti mentioned, Toastmaster Jijo has their numbers, and we are here for you. Please contact us. And if you have any problems, we would love to see all the members of District 79 healthy, stay healthy, both physically and mentally. And on that note, over to you, Toastmaster Merlin.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sarah Uman. That was a wonderful session, and I believe most of you who were listening to us got an insight towards how to approach and what to do further with that note. Let's continue with our session by welcoming the Club Growth Director, DTM Cis Valencia, for a felicitation. She has been in the Toastmaster fraternity since 2014 and held various positions in club, area, division, and district level. She is very compassionate and helps others to the best. She is a nurse by profession, currently working as an assistant manager in the heart surgery department in King Faisal Specialist Hospital. She received the highest and the prestigious international nurse recognition in USA, California, as an extraordinary nurse for making a difference in the patient's and family life every day. Please help me welcome Club Growth Director, DTM Cis Valencia.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Merly, for this warm introduction. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. To our District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Madhushan.
Oh, you lost. You're mute, ma'am. Yep.
Again, once again, good evening to everyone. And thank you so much, Toastmaster Merlin, for the warm introduction. To our District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Madhushan Lanayakara, our Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Rami Al-Jawad, members of our roundtable, District 79, family, and our wonderful members, a pleasant evening to each one of you. First and foremost, I would like to thank Toastmaster Jijo for conducting this wonderful event. Our three great presenters, Toastmaster Sariga, Toastmaster Ambili, and Dr. Shanti. Yeah, it was such a wonderful session. Nowadays, this is what we need. We are mentally exhausted, emotionally depressed or disappointed. But with your great session, I think we have a lot of things to ponder this evening or for these coming days. Truly, you invested a lot of your presentations. I truly believe that our members gained a lot of knowledge because this is really a seldom workshop that we should hear Even though there's no pandemic, we should hear something that will motivate us or lift our spirit to keep on ongoing. So we miss our family, we miss our friends, and we miss physical meeting in Toastmasters. But nevertheless, you made us more comfortable, even though it's in a virtual meeting. You have a great heights of intentions to motivate us, to inspire us that nothing is impossible, that if you want to talk to someone, we can always count on you. Thank you so much for all these wonderful things that you imparted for this event. And I would like also to thank our technical team for supporting us, for supporting this wonderful event that the CSR held for tonight. And I would like also to thank all the members of the round table and the district family members who really support each one of us in these difficult situations. We are the source of the strength to each other, and we might be challenged with some issues, but we are here to be as one family, and we work together as one family. So thank you so much to each one of you, and back to you, Toastmaster Merlin.
Thank you, DTM says Valencia. That was wonderful and encouraging for all of us to carry over today when we are going back. Let me quote Henry Ford, who said, "Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is success." I am sure we will be successful to achieve our motives as a team, as we have a team with positive attitude, which is led by most energetic and enthusiastic Toastmaster, our CSR manager, Toastmaster Jijo Koshi. Let me just call upon Toastmaster Jijo Koshi for the awarding of the certificates.
Thank you, Toastmaster Merlin. I had a lot of takes today. Everybody has strengths. We just need to find them. Thank you for those wonderful words. Every program, there are a lot of hands behind and the front. My CSR team is really modest. They say we don't want certificates. We just want to participate and give out our best. But I can't do that. I need to really congratulate each and everyone who supported me in this work. First of all, let us recognize our presenters. Dr. Sundar. Dr. Sadiga Al-Ghalib. Thank you for that. You have come all the way from Jeddah for us, even though it's virtual. We hope to see more from you. And we really encourage you to share your publications on plantations. We'd love to hear that. Next, let me call upon our next presenter, Toastmaster Ambali Rose. Now, our counseling team head. Really, hats off to your support for our counseling, all our presenters. You have been there, and you have been with me for all these events. Thank you for that. Let us see Toastmaster Shanti Rekha.
Thank you.
Now, presenters, yes, they were all great, but there's nothing beyond our MOC. She's a new Toastmaster. Believe me, I see a big future ahead for us in District 79 through Toastmaster Merlin. Toastmaster Merlin, you're just fabulous. Great work done. Thank you all. Back to Toastmaster Merlin Lenny.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jijo. Before we conclude today's event, let me call upon another team leader and guide for CSR team, Toastmaster Dr. Sundar Ramalingam, Associate Consultant Oral Surgeon at King South University Medical City. He is a Toastmaster since 2017, currently VP Education at Taj Toastmasters Club, and past Division B champion and STAG 2020 semi-finalist for the vote of thanks. Toastmaster Dr. Sundar Ramalingam.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Merlin, for that brilliant words. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished panelists, and all the audience present here, a warm good evening to you all. An event as great as this, a meeting of this much of a caliber, never ends without profound thanks being mentioned. At the outset, let me thank the trio leadership of District 79, the District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Madhusha Nanayakara, Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Rami Jawad, and the Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Sis Valencia, for their unending support, untiring efforts, and enthusiasm as for this meeting to be happening today. I would fail in my duties if I don't thank the District Roundtable, which has been behind the entire CSR team in getting ahead and going on with a meeting of this much greatness. A special thanks to the District 79 Public Relations and Technical team for the seamless event that we were having today. And if we have had this much of publicity for this event, it really goes and shows the work that they have done behind this event. I wish to thank all the corporate social responsibility of District 79, the CSR team, all the members, and especially the CSR manager of District 79, Toastmaster Jijo Koshi. He has been pushing from behind, like a soft push. That's the force that keeps us all moving ahead and going ahead successfully. Special thanks also to the Master of Ceremony, Toastmaster Merlin. You did a great job. You were the sheet anchor of today's meeting. You were actually coordinating them in a great way. And also thanks to the silent role player, our Sergeant at Arms and timer, Toastmaster Mumtaz Seema Rizvi. Although you were just speaking only in the beginning, but you were actually making sure that the meeting was under control. Gratitude is when memories are stored in our hearts and not in the minds, said Lionel Hampton. Accordingly, the panelists who spoke to us today filled our hearts with wellness, a commodity that we much need in this time of pandemic. All of us are facing troubles, be it in job, be it personally, professionally. The pandemic, entire 2020, people say, has been like a lot of pressure. And this spring of wellness, which was brought upon through their ideas, perceptions, and their speeches, really, that should be commended. Thanks a lot from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of everybody here to our three wonderful panelists, Dr. Sadiga Al-Ghalib, Toastmaster Ambali Rose, and Toastmaster Dr. Shanti Rekha Rao. And a special thanks to our Toastmaster Saira for wonderfully deliberating the question and answer session so that audience queries are answered in a very good fashion by these panelists. Last but not the least, there is no successful event without the audience. And thank you all for attending this event. And I'm sure that you all are benefited. Please pass on these seeds of wellness to whomsoever you know, be it a Toastmaster or a non-Toastmaster. This is something which we need right now. Thank you all for doing that. And thank you all in advance that you will continue doing it. Over to you, Toastmaster Merlin.
Thank you, Dr. Sundar, for your wonderful words. I'm sure the light of wellness will be passed on throughout District 79, and we all will be brightened and not be stressed anymore with 2020 pandemic situation. With that, we conclude today's session, today's meeting. I wish everyone a pleasant evening ahead. Thank you.
Can we have a group photo? I think we did not do it.
Yes, please.
Yes, our manager.
Yeah.
Toastmaster Jijo.
Yes, Doctor. Yes, DTM.
Jay actually left for some urgent business. So if
Yes,
you
sir.
could take the photograph, that'll be great.
Yeah. All right.
However, the thing is, we will only be seeing the panelists. The participants aren't supposed to be on the view because it's a webinar. So we can maybe take the photograph of the panelists and the support team.
Okay. Done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Didi.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we may end the session. Thank you, Didi.
Everyone.
Great session.
It was so wonderful. Great content. So that's why I asked Toastmaster Jijo to circulate the recording of the session to all the members in the district. So we'll be working on that. Thank you so much.